Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Q&A here on the Dice Tower. Let me get a couple things situated here, just making sure you all can hear me, which it looks like you can. Fantastic. It has been a bit, right? So I didn't do a Q&A 2 weeks ago because we were doing the Winter Spectacular, which I thought the Winter Spectacular went really well. I might be wrong. You all are the judges, obviously, but I thought it went fine. We had a lot of fun doing it. And then we took a week off, which I got some emails from people going, "Are you okay? There's been no content for a week." And it's kind of an odd thing because I've always pushed here at the Dice Tower that we will get content out every day. You know, if you ask my employees, I'm the one pushing that all the time. Let's get content out. So when we stop doing that, people are like upset sometimes about it, but we have to take breaks at some point. So we were able to take some breaks last week. So let's go through and answer some questions. If I don't answer your question here at the very beginning, I might have missed it at the beginning. Go ahead and re-ask it. Just time to answer questions and stuff. So Rich says, "Morning, Tom. I just saw an announcement for Marvel United Multiverse or something like that. Do you know anything about it?" I do, but not much more than you do. Do you ever think we'll see DC United? One can hope. So for the Marvel United, though, I'm looking much forward to that because I like Marvel United stuff for sure. Merry Christmas, says Dornace. "Big snowstorm up here in Quebec. Winds up to 120 kilometers an hour. 3 days without power at Christmas time. Airport shut down. How would you fare in this kind of temperature?" I would not enjoy it. We would survive, obviously. 3 days without power seems pretty terrible, though. I would hope that you have a chimney. The house that is bought has a chimney. I don't know why any house in Florida has a chimney, but it's been sealed off. It just kind of makes the house look nicer, I suppose. No, it was 46 here this morning. That's Fahrenheit, obviously. And it was 46 yesterday for Christmas. It was the third coldest recorded Christmas in Miami. Everybody was complaining and whining up the wazoo, which I know y'all folks up north don't want to hear that, but I found it to be interesting. Let's see. What is your favorite Mario character? Feels like I had this conversation yesterday with my son. Because he loves Mario. In the expanded universe, it's Donkey Kong. But in just Mario itself, it's Luigi. Obviously, he's the taller one. Christmas is now over, barely. Do you continue listening to Christmas music a little while longer, or did you already make the switch back to regular music? You know, I didn't listen to any music today, actually. But I'll probably switch back to regular because I start listening to Christmas music on like November 1st. So I've been listening to it for a while. So I'm okay going back to non-Christmas. Have I played Oath yet? I have not. Do you plan on in the future? Maybe, but not looking likely. What's my favorite magical creatures? I mean, there's like all kinds of different ways to answer that. Like from a cool perspective, I'd love to see a dragon. I don't know that I want to, hang out with near one because that'd be scary. Maybe a Pegasus, but even then, I think I would fall off the Pegasus and die. I don't know. I guess we'll go with dragon. A griffin would be cool to see too, though. What was your favorite gift you gifted to someone this Christmas? I'm thinking about all the gifts I gave many children. I got my wife. I got my in-laws. I don't know that I have a favorite gift that I gave anybody. Nothing in particular stands out. Let's see. Who would I like to see in a new Marvel United? This is a tough one. I actually made a document, So that's interesting. Let me see if I can find that document. Where I was trying to guess the potential people for the Marvel United campaign. Yep, here it is. Tom's picks for X-Men United because some things are important. I shared this with the staff. So let's see. I am going to have to struggle here because I'm going to have to remember which one of these are not in there. There's ones I've missed. Okay. So villain-wise, Dark Beast, Black Tom Cassidy, Exodus. Is Exodus in the game? Man, I'm having a hard time to remember who's in the game, because some of these were added to the game. Ahab needs to be in the game. All right, let's look at the. Okay, so for heroes, I want Speedball, Night Thrasher, Justice. Those three for sure. Box, seriously, put those guys in, and you didn't put in Box. I'm surprised they didn't put in Negasonic Teenage Warhead, although she's barely in the comics. Pete Wisdom, Leech. I think Leech is in the game. Husk, Chamber, Wild Child. No, Wild Child is in the game. Is Chamber in the game? He might be. I don't remember now. Rock Slide and Caliban. Siren. Celia Reyes. Marrow. M. Firestar. Cypher. Northstar's in the game. Is Armor in the game yet? I don't think Armor's in the game, and she definitely should be in the game. So, looks like the rest of the ones that I wrote here made the game in some manner or fashion. So as you can see, and that was me guessing X-Men. I didn't go to the extended Marvel universe, but there's going to be people from there too. So, all right. Well, it's not often I have a document ready for an answer to a question. Top 5 video games? Someday. We're going to soon do that as a general top 10 list here from the staff. What's the weirdest food you've ever eaten? Camel? I don't know that I have any. Jake says, Happy Holidays. Recently started playing heavier games. What would be the reason why I can't understand how to play Beyond the Sun, but understand the much heavier Zolkin? It's because different games trigger different parts of your brain. There are some games, like Go, for example, isn't particularly difficult to understand the few rules in the game, but it can be very mind-melty of an experience. Lacerda games are very difficult for some people, not necessarily for others. But like trick-taking games is a good example of this. I know some people, we grew up in trick-taking games, we know them, and other people, they see it and it feels like they have a hard time wrapping their brain around it. Different people have different things, so I wouldn't feel bad about it. I don't know that I would even say that Zolkin's much heavier than Beyond the Sun. It's a different heavy, I think. Are you addicted to Marvel Snap? I don't know if I'm addicted to it, because if I don't play it, life goes on. I played it yesterday, so did I play it this morning? I did not play it this morning. I played it yesterday, though. I play it once or twice a day, which seemingly is a but I went like 4 days last week without playing it at all. So I was busy and doing other things. So I'm not like, addicted's a strong word, but I am having fun. I was just saying that now that I'm in level 3, the level 3 pool of cards, well, I guess level 3/4/5, it's so much more fun, and I have so much more deck building. My current deck that I use most of the time is I got Thanos. Saved my little credit thingamabobberoonies and put Thanos in my deck, and I got Thor, who's in my Thanos deck, and Absorbing Man, who's in my Thanos deck, and a few other cards and stuff, and it's just a fun deck to play. A couple times it works perfectly, and it's like a song. Man, I massacre Man of Me, and most of the time it doesn't, but I still have fun playing it. Let's see here. Have you seen Santa Claus series on Disney Plus? No, because I keep meaning I need to show my kids Santa Claus 2 first before we do that. What is the worst "Hey Tom, you like board games, right?" gift you've been given? I get those occasionally, not very often, no. I don't push the board games, and if I do, I don't know. I don't get a lot of those, but sometimes just some mass market card game stuff. No big deal. What is your favorite Christmas children's book? I don't know if I have one. Sorry. What gifts have you gotten this Christmas? Well, I got a couple hats, so I'm not actually sure who they're from. So thank you to whoever sent those. I got a lot of small gifts, so I'm going to miss some of the things. But for my family, I got socks. I got pizza socks. can't see them very well. Oh, look, it's pizza, and it came in a pizza box. I got a nice big Alexa. That's right, she's not in here anymore. I got what else did I get? I got some grill stuff for the grill, some hot sauces, of course, some spices, and some more socks. But I'm the kind of guy that you can give socks to, and some more stuff than that. But not. Oh, I got some decoration stuff for the studio. I got a house, but I guess that's not a gift since I paid a lot of money for that house. Did you travel during Christmas time? I did not. What was the best thing you ate at Christmas? I made I made some shrimp, lobster, sausage, and small potatoes, and it turned out really well, to the point where I just ate some leftovers for it just a bit ago. What do you think of the Lich King in Hearthstone? I've only messed with him a little bit so far. I played it enough so that I could get it. The deck building is where that changes with the different things. I played it. It seems fun. I just haven't got into it a lot. Will you play Calico online? Not tremendously. I don't think that I don't play Calico much offline. So, well, maybe I will. We'll see. But I don't play a lot of games. What game amongst your friends, colleagues, are you most surprised is their number one of all time? Like Eric liking Merchants of Venus. That doesn't surprise me with Eric, but I've known him for so long. You know, I know he has that nostalgia factor that plays in there, but he also likes the game and he plays it. Most surprise. I don't know, actually. I'd have to come back and think about that one. Marrow and Firestar in the game. You're right. I know Firestar's in the game. And Marrow, I guess. Sorry. I guess I never checked them off when I went through that list. Sorry. What time do you take down Christmas decorations? I like to keep them up as long as possible. Well, the ones behind me are getting taken down today. And the ones at my house are being taken down today. Normally I leave the Christmas decorations up till post-New Year. But since we're moving in a couple weeks or as soon as possible, we need to get them down. I was like, all right, we're not going to tear down the living room until Christmas is over. But Christmas is now over. My son wants to know what your favorite country is. Well, if it's okay, my favorite country is the USA. I live here, so I think that's okay for me to like this one as my favorite. But outside the USA, Malaysia, for sure. Or Korea. That's a tough call. Zombie-Stein, I'm the one who sent you the board game ornaments. Thank you. Did Roy get his? I did give it to him. I don't know. It was in passing. We were really busy the week before Christmas, so I'm sure he liked it. Have you planned what conventions you'll be attending in 2023? Well, I'm going to all the Dice Tower ones. That's set in stone. Other than that, nothing's set in stone. However, we do have an internal meeting about that today. But it's still not going to be set in stone after that point. But we're getting closer. Can you do a top 10 of what to do or not to do to get newer people into games? The top 10 commandments for board game evangelism. Oh, that's interesting. I like that. I like that. We might do that at some point. That's a good one. Do you think the X-Men character Forget-Me-Not is in Marvel United? Oh, that's really funny. Let me make sure. Let me make sure I'm thinking of the right person. Forget-Me-Not from Earth 616. Sorry, I'm looking it up online. Just make sure it's the right one because I think this is the... Yep. Got it. X-Men Legacy 300. I think that's the X-Men who's like there, but everyone forgets he exists. So he's not. That's how they retconned him in because he was there, but everyone forgot about him. Yeah. So that's interesting. Anyway, I don't know who. I guess is the right answer. Loopy changed her Alexa to Ziggy. Well, that's a useful thing. I forgot. I didn't know you could change its name to too many different things, but I would probably change mine. Is the board game Breakfast Smorgasbord studio setup inspired by Man vs. Meeple? No. And okay, first of all, let me say, I like Man vs. Meeple. They do a fine job. But no. It's inspired by, like, talk shows that have been around for, like, 100 years now. Maybe not 100 years, but pretty close to that. I was surprised that people said that when we are sitting there in front of a set, like is done every night on cable television and network television, it just seemed odd that people think that. Man vs. Meeple never even crossed my mind. I wanted to have a talk show format, so I looked at talk shows, both on the net and off the net, and modeled. Obviously, we're not 100% like them. We don't got a fake picture of New York in the background or anything. I wanted to put board game stuff in the background, but that was what it was inspired by. Is Flamecraft staying in your collection? Well, I don't have a collection. I have the Dice Tower collection. So is Flamecraft in the Dice Tower library? Yes, it is. Congrats on the house. Yep, my wife and I got the key on Wednesday of last week, right before we lost both cars. It was a very eventful day. So yeah, we haven't moved in yet. Got electricity there. Got some construction people coming over tomorrow. And I have a lot of different things to set up for it. A lot of different things. What's your opinion on the Puerto Rico redesign? I haven't seen a copy. We went to look to get a copy at Essen, but they were all in German. So, if I get a copy, I get a copy. If not, I'm happy with the current one. So we'll see if I get a copy. I don't know. What is your favorite cosmic encounter alien? If you can search, I've done a top 10 on it, and it probably hasn't changed tremendously, although there are some ones in the newest expansion. I might have to redo it at some point, but we'll see. It'll be a while before I redo it. Why Malaysia? I just love Malaysia. It's a mix of cultures. I love Melting Pot, and Malaysia is very much a mix of cultures. Selfishly, it's easy to communicate for me in Malaysia, at least in KL. I love the mix of giant skyscrapers, with jungle. That's just a cool mix. I love the temperature there. I love I like the food. I liked everything about Malaysia. Remind me or us when the Kickstarter will start. The Kickstarter starts 2 weeks from today on the 9th of January. You can go to DicetowerKickstarter.com right now, and you can sign up there to be notified for the launch. Let's see here. Would the JLA have an easier time with Thanos? I doubt it. They keep changing cast members anyway. Have you ever played Cyclades Titans with the C3K expansion? Does it work? I think it works, but I'm not 100% sure. You can change Alexa to computer, Ziggy, Alexa, and Echo. I knew you could change it to Echo. I didn't know about computer, Ziggy. I would definitely not change it to computer because you use the word computer all the time. I guess Ziggy. I wonder why you can't change it to any name you want. Meh. Who's your favorite author? Brandon Sanderson. I like fantasy and sci-fi mostly, but I'll read a lot of stuff. Yes, you're right. 100 years ago, there was silent talk shows. Sorry. I don't know when talk shows started, but they were probably in the 40s or 30s. I don't know the history of talk shows that much. Although I just did read a book, a very, very long book on the history of SNL, which was interesting, but it was very long. But I just read it last week. Let's see. Do you think board game reviewer channels are oversupplied compared to current viewers? I don't know what that means. Can you explain that a little bit more? I don't know what it means. Oversupplied in what? How many Dice Tower shows will there be on the cruise? At the moment, 2 of them, I believe. So one at the beginning and one at the end. If you were to open a board game cafe and could only have 3 games in your library, I would close the board game cafe. That's not a question. No. No. That doesn't make any sense. That's like saying if you could only keep 3 of your senses, which would, no. If you have a board game cafe, I would have hundreds of games. What do you prefer, Marvel Remix or Fantasy Realms? Probably Fantasy Realms. But I do like Marvel Remix a lot. Wow, have I already caught up the questions? All right. Well, keep asking them then. Do you know where to buy promos or expansions for games that are hard to find? Board Game Geek or eBay would be where I would look for those mostly. Anyhow, yeah, so it was a eventful last week. I guess I will mention my wife's car overheated, so I jumped in my car to go rescue her, and on the way got into an accident which ripped the entire bumper off my car. Her car has been fixed. Mine isn't because the body shops were closed on Christmas. So my wife's going to take it in tomorrow. Hopefully it will get fixed. But that, with us moving, is a fun thing. But happily, no one was hurt. Even more happily, none of my kids were driving. It was me driving, so I'm the moron. But also, I would have worried about the kids a lot. And Kenny helped me out a lot. So, yeah, it's been a good Christmas for the most part. Do I have a favorite drink when playing board games? Water, I guess. What's your favorite retro board game pre-90s? I don't know. Fortress America, maybe? I don't know. I'd have to look at a list. Have I been to Thailand? Yeah, Thailand is really close to after Malaysia. I really like Thailand, too. Glad you're okay? Well, I am also glad I'm okay. Thank you very much. What are your thoughts on board game themes? Nature is very popular, but what would be your top 3 popular themes? I don't know. That changes all the time. Sorry, I might do a top 10 list on that at some point. What are your thoughts on the changes reboot of the DC movies? Well, I'm not really tied into DC movies, so it doesn't bother me like that they're recasting everybody. But I would like to see some movies with these characters doing other things and having origin stories. I don't want to see another origin story of Batman like, oh no, is he going to go watch Zorro? Is his mom going to get shot? But other than that, I don't have any real strong opinions on it one way or the other. Does the prospect of live-action Warhammer sound exciting to you? Maybe. We'd have to see who's involved with it. I mean, I know some of the people involved with it, but I'll have to wait and see more. Have I seen the new Avatar? No, I'm not a huge fan of the original Avatar. I think it's fine. I just didn't think it was great. I thought it was fine. But yeah, I might go see it. In the theaters, I probably won't go see it. I don't have time or money right now to go see it. I'll just wait till it comes out on the streaming. What's the theme for this year's Kickstarter? Fantasy-ish. I'll post some pictures that we have soon. Oh, yeah, duh. Cosmic from the pre-90s Cosmic Encounter. Thank you. Duh. Wow. Oh, my goodness. Folks in chat, you need to tell folks I've already talked about Marvel United Multiverse. Any tips on teaching asymmetrical games to others? It's really hard. You just have to be very patient and be warned that you're not going to win. Maybe not play the game and just teach the different roles. Vanessa says, wow, 3 of my friends had car accidents last week. Not a good week for cars. Well, there is that. But it is, what do you do? The last Batman movie didn't do an origin, which I was happy about. Sure, I don't mind origin movies, although sometimes origin movies take so long to get to it. A good example of that would be the Fantastic Four, the early 2000s one. It was a fine movie, but they spent so long on the origins, they finally got their powers together. They fought Doctor Doom and the movie ended immediately. And I was like, I want to see more. I should have not said that because the second movie I thought was terrible. But, you know what I mean? Origins can take too long. The first X-Men, I was like, all right, great, the X-Men are here. Let's get their powers. I don't mind origins stuff, but especially when I know it already, I don't want to keep seeing it. What new and exciting things should we be looking forward to in the Dice Tower in 2023? Well, I'll talk a little bit about that more as we get closer to Kickstarter. I have some ideas, but right now we're just trying to focus on doing a good job. Top 3 Ghibli movies? Well, Spirited Away and Princess Mononoke are my top 2. 1, 2, like that. It's not even close. Those are my top 2. I don't know what number 3 would be. I really like My Neighbor Totoro. I forget how to say it, Totoro or whatever. It's such a nice, gentle movie. I really like it. So maybe those 3. Will this coming Kickstarter be fulfilled faster? We'd love to, but it's, if our Kickstarters were just us doing stuff, we'd have them to you much quicker. The problem is there's so many outside sources. So we get promos from, let's say last year I think we had promos from 50 different companies. That's 50 different people. Any one of those is late, it delays everything. And that's what happened. We just kept getting delayed. Now I said we'd have the stuff shipped out in December, and we did. So we weren't late, we were on time. I just would have loved to have given you an earlier date than December. But happily, we got them out on time, or are getting them out on time. And if you get yours in January, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it to be late. But yeah, we do our best. But there's just so many different things that happen. Favorite game from Target? I don't know off the top of my head, because I don't know the Target exclusives off the top of my head anymore. Everything is getting mixed together. I struggle with managing time for my hobbies with just 2 kids. How do you manage your free time with such a big family? I don't do a lot of other things in my free time. People often ask what my other hobbies are. I watch some TV and movies and play video games occasionally. And board games is my job now, so that makes it even easier. But it's board games at my family, and I don't consider it a hobby, but what I do at my church. I hope there's a dice dragon in the new Kickstarter. Well, your hopes are good. What about today's 2022 board games industry would have surprised past Tom? I think past Tom would have been surprised about just the humongous box and how much money people are willing to throw at giant games. Where did you find the dice ornaments? Well, that was a Kickstarter, and I'm really happy with these guys. That was a really, there's a lot of Kickstarters, and I get made fun of a lot. Now, it was an expensive Kickstarter, but I think they look great. They're great ornaments. You could put them on a tree, and non-gamer people, I think, wouldn't have a problem with them. I just think they look fantastic. Now, they're definitely, I think you can see every single one right here in this shot, because there's not that many of them. But I put them all together but I would have spread them out. I would love to have 2 more sets of these, but they were pretty pricey. I was excited we go to church on Christmas. Guess it will be a while before it happens again? Well, 6 years. It's like 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, and then it's like 13, or something like that. Thanks, leap year. What is one thing involving a dice tower you are excited about in the new year that you can talk about now? No, I don't have anything. All right. Sorry. When are you doing your 2023 predictions? This Thursday and Board Game Smorgasbord. Are there enough I Cut You Choose games out there to do a top 10? I think I did a top 10 on this. If not, I wrote the list, but I'm pretty sure I did an I Split You Choose. What Kickstarter game have you backed that was most disappointing? I don't know. There's a long list of those. What's my favorite grocery store? Oh, that's easy. Publix. For those of you who are down south, Publix. There's no second. The service at Publix is amazing. Like if you go around and you go shopping, and everywhere you go, there's angry cashiers and bitter stock people and just generally not good employees. And you go to Publix, and they're very, very nice. They're Disney-esque nice at Publix. I like Publix. I think it's clean. It's a pleasure to shop at Publix for me. And I know whenever I say this, someone's like, oh, I have a bad Publix. But I'll tell you what, I've been to dozens of Publix, and I've never been to a bad one. I've been to some that are better than others, but I think they're great. Now, up north, of all the ones I've been to up north, which one would I say I like the? Well, it used to be Pathmark, but I think Pathmark went out of business. Maybe ShopRite, maybe I don't know a whole lot about the Midwest West. I know everyone talks about Kroger's and other things like that. I can't speak to them. I can only speak about the Northeast and the Southeast. The Southeast, definitely Publix. I would have said Albertsons, but I'm pretty sure Publix bought Albertsons and everything. And then up north, well, I want to say IGA, but IGAs are such a mixed bag. You can have a really amazing IGA. Some of the best stores I've been into have been IGAs, but some of the smallest bad ones I've also been IGA. So I guess that removes them from the running. So I'll probably say ShopRite maybe? Not Acme, not Giant. I guess ShopRite. All right, anyway. What are some accessories that are essential when playing games? Nothing is essential. Favorite movies to watch in the Christmas season? We don't necessarily have any, except we always watch, and we watched it yesterday, episodes of The Show Goes Wrong. We love those. Very Christmassy. Everyone loves them. Me and my son love them the most. They're just very funny. And then, what else is there? I think I'm going to add Spirited to my annual Christmas watching. I really like Spirited. Critic Rules did a series of interviews with their cast. Would you ever consider doing that for the Dice Tower Cruise? Crew? I don't think so, because I let everyone here do Q&As, and that's kind of like an interview. So I feel like you get to know us very well, actually. Since Disney has acknowledged that they're not satisfied with Phase 4, good, because I'm not either. Considering all the content that currently exists, what would you like to see come to the MCU aside from mutants? Well, you can't say that. It's obviously mutants. I'm going to say mutants. I don't care about anything else. I want the mutants to get in there. Let's come on. Let's get this done with. Maybe Fantastic Four, but seriously, get the mutants in there. When are you doing your 2023 resolutions? I don't normally make resolutions for the coming year. Maybe Dice Tower resolutions, but not really. That's like our Kickstarter. I don't make personal resolutions. I mean, I do that, but I just do it when I feel like doing it, not wait for a new year. Did the Dice Tower crew meet during Christmas? Not on Christmas Day or even... Kenny came and helped me when my car got wrecked, so that was very nice of him. And I saw a couple of the people over the week break from the Dice Tower, but not anything major. Have you been to St. Augustine? No. I'm one of those bitter stock people at a grocery store. COVID did a number of my patience for humans. Maybe. But I always try to think, people might just be having a bad day. I always, I run into people that aren't necessarily friendly at a grocery store, but you don't know necessarily what's going through them. Let's see. Any interest in the top 10 skirmish games? That's on my list to do at some point. I would not be surprised if you don't see that in 2023. Are you still subscribed to Marvel Unlimited? I do. I just haven't read it in a bit, so I need to get back to reading that again. Do you have big wheel department stores when you were up north? No. When I grew up, the big department stores were Hess's. That was in the Allentown area. After that, it was just the chains, Sears, JCPenney, blah, blah, blah. I don't find those stores to be particularly enthralling. Unless you're talking about the Walmart, Kmart side of things, in which case I'm a big fan of Target. But big box stores, I find them interesting. And when I was a kid, I really remember at Christmas, they were like magical places to go. Like that whole Christmas story when he goes to the store, that really rang with me because I remember that when I was a kid in the 80s, early 80s. I remember going to stores and it was just like, wow, that was a thing. That was pretty cool. You went in there and it was just it was like this magical wonderland. Now I just think, meh. When I visited South Carolina, I was surprised to see that Piggly Wiggly was a real thing. Thought that was just a goofy made-up store from TV. I agree. I mean, I remember distinctly as a kid arguing with my dad when he first told me about Wawas, because I was like, why would someone name their store Wawa? What are my favorite Christmas cookies? No, sugar cookies, Christmas sugar cookies. My kids made a ton of them and decorated them all. We also made gingerbread houses and stuff this year, and I forgot why I don't do that. It's like every 3 years I'm like, let's do gingerbread houses. And I'm like, oh, wow, what a pain. But the kids had fun doing them, but they are a pain. Hey, Tom, trying to get in a hobby. I got a couple gateway games and collection starter games, like King of Tokyo, Cold Express, Love Letter. What games could be the next level? On this, I can't give specific things to you, but I would just say start watching reviews of games. See what looks interesting to you. Watch reviews. And if you're like, that seems complicated, then skip it. But if you're like, that sounds fun, get it. That's what I would do. There's not like a primer of how to become a gamer. Here are some games you play, then you play some other games. I think we've done a top 10 list of next step games. But in reality, just get any game that you think is interesting. But watch a review to see if it seems overly complicated. And if it does, then don't get it. Get something else. What is the best very special Christmas episode of a regular TV show you like to watch? So I already said the show goes wrong. But like of all the TV shows I watch, who had a great Christmas show? A Christmas episode? I know what my kids are because they just watch it. Good Luck Charlie, but that's not mine. I'm trying to think back at the various Christmas episodes. I'm sure there's some good ones, but I always like Christmas episodes, but I don't have one that comes to mind. I'm sure there's good ones. I'm sorry. Is Heat better than El Dorado for a 3 to 4 person racing game? Well, they're very different. El Dorado is more of a race through a jungle. You can go anywhere you want. Heat is an actual car racing game. I know you wouldn't push, but do you think one of your kiddos will carry in a dice tower, the Vasel dynasty? I doubt it. It could happen, but I don't think so. Do you or any of the Dice Tower crew play any miniature war skirmish games, things like Warhammer or Frostgrave? I played 40K. Is Frostgrave a miniature skirmish game? I don't know. I'm getting it. Or I have gotten it. I don't know what happened. Will the Jack Vasel auction be at Dice Tower this year? I can't handle the logistics of that, unfortunately, because of the touching of the games, and some are for the auction and some are not, and I just don't have the bandwidth to run it. Are you open to paid reviews from independent creators? I don't know what that means. I don't think so. Like, none of our reviews have ever been paid for. We always just do reviews. Companies sometimes email me and go, how much does it cost to get a review? And there's nothing. We do paid previews of games. Mark Street and Stella do that for Kickstarter. And we do paid run-throughs of games. But for reviews, they're not paid for. Whenever someone asks me that, I saw someone once yelled on the internet. They're like, when someone asks me that, I'm like, who's taking money for games? It's not so much that. It's that there's like bigger. Think of like when you see a magazine seal of excellence from the Toy, Excellence Association. Like you'll see some weird stamp, not weird stamp, but maybe like in a magazine or something. Those corporations or whoever puts out those little seals and stuff, they often charge money. They're like, it costs $500 for us to even look at your game. And some people, that's the only contact with the industry they have. But the people who are in my circle, the people who do other reviews like we do, no one takes payment for games. Is Zombies in Marvel United a yes? I don't think I would want Zombies in Marvel United. We'll see. Do you have a favorite map for Ark Nova? Nope, I'm pretty good with all of them. Ooh, a super chat. Hopefully this can help with your car. Well, I appreciate that. Fortunately, I did have insurance, although I suspect very strongly that what they gave me for insurance will not even come close to covering the cost of the car. But who knows? Maybe it will. I told my wife if it wasn't for the fact the whole bumper was torn off and several wires along with it, I would gladly just keep the money and say, who cares about a dent in a car? But as it is. I saw the famous cake vending machine, says Ant-Man. For the first time in New Jersey on the way to PAX Unplugged. It means they're spreading. What is my best, happiest memory of 2022? Holding my grandson. Easy. That was great. I really like that. Tom, have you ever been invited to create a board game? No, I didn't know you had to be. I just made one time, but I wasn't invited to do it. I have been invited, I think, for people to ask helping and stuff, but I don't normally do that. Blake Cavany is celebrating 6 months of membership. Hooray! And thank you. And he says, how much does Frosthaven weigh in terms of actual pounds? I don't know off the top of my head, but I want to say it was 36 pounds. I know it was something like that. It's very heavy. My Frosthaven reviews go up tomorrow. If you were to own a boat, would you name it Vasel's Vessel? I would not. How many hats do you now own? You know what? I can actually count them now, mostly because I'm moving and I have them all sorted out. I got rid of a lot of my junky hats. I now have fedoras. There's a wall of hats here. We're going to do a walkthrough of the studio very soon, probably during the Kickstarter time, so you can see what our studio looks like now that it's done. And you'll see the wall of hats. And then at home I have a pile of baseball caps and little newsboy hats. I wear those a lot too. Get publishers to pay you to not review their game? That's like blackmail. Like, I don't think that seems like a good idea. Best gaming win of 2022? Oh, I don't know. I know there were some great moments of winning. I felt so excited about winning. One of them was live. I forget what it was, but I remember being very excited that I won. Hardest loss? I don't know. I lose a lot of games. I don't know that it really bothers me that much. How was your experience in Philly? It was great. And which shop did you land at for your cheesesteak? You know, I got a cheesesteak somewhere in the Reading terminal. I don't care. And I say this many, many times, and I don't care how upset Philadelphians get at me because I'm from Allentown and I'm a Philly person, so I can say this. The fact is, get a cheesesteak in Philadelphia. It doesn't really matter. They're not that different. Everyone has a very strong opinion on them, and I'm sure you'll find a shop that you like the best, but it's not like, oh, the ones over there are garbage. That's baloney. They're all good. I'm sure you can find some that are bad to prove my point wrong. But for the most part, cheesesteaks are pretty good. My favorite, though, is the pork sandwiches or beef sandwiches from Denix. Those are better even than cheesesteaks. Do you miss visiting the smaller game cons around the U.S.? Well, a little bit. I like doing that. If I'm invited to go to one, I would certainly consider it. It just hasn't happened for a while. And I'm not saying that as a way to fish for gaming con insights. I'm not. I miss them, but I also really like running my own little cons. It's a lot of fun to meet people. Do you have Anne's Trespass in the library? I do not. It's too big and gigantic and heavy. That being said, we have it here at the studio. I just haven't played it yet. Was there a giveaway? No, but it seems like 43 minutes in is a good place to do so. So if you would like to get a $10 gift certificate for Game Nerds, that's GameNerds.com. Great online selection of board games. We've been just talking about best games of the year. Fantastic games to get. Game Nerds is a good place to do it. They have a daily deal. You want to check that out. I think that's happening in just a few minutes every day. They have great sales. They are the place to go if you want board games. I cannot recommend them highly enough. And you can get a $10 gift certificate. All you need to do is email us at contest@dicetower.com. In the subject line, put the words, 2 words, Boxing Day, because that's what today is, Boxing Day. So BOXING space day, Boxing Day, and in the body, let us know what your favorite, just tell us what your favorite holiday is. Maybe it is Boxing Day, whatever it is. We'll pick a random winner, check them out. By the way, our big bag contest that we ran, all the winners, we have a page on our website where you can, dicetower.com/contests. You can see the winners, and if you want a bag, you'd know about it by now because you've been contacted, and everyone who's won has been contacted and responded, but you can see who won. Congratulations to the people. That was a really cool contest. We hope to do other big contests like that in the future. All right, let's see here. How are your kids dealing with the move? Are any of them upset that they're moving away from neighborhood friends? None of them are really that upset, mostly because cell phones exist. So My youngest son is not that upset because we have a yard in the new place, and he didn't have any super strong friends. Most of his friends were from school or church. Same thing with my daughters. My oldest, not my oldest daughter, my number 3 daughter, Holly, has a very, very good friend in her neighborhood, and that friend's upset we're moving, but Holly's in college anyway, and they can both drive, and I was like, you'll be okay. Polls for future reviews of board games? Maybe. What kind of cheese do you prefer on your cheesesteak? Mozzarella. Vanessa says, I've never eaten a cheesesteak. They just don't sound appealing to me. Yeah, then maybe you won't like one. I'll never try to push food on people who don't think they'll like it. Except kids. They have to eat what they get. Do you approve of Z Garcia's Marvel Snap addiction? Oh, I play more than he does. Garrett won a bag? Congrats, Garrett. Hope you enjoy it. What Funko set would you like to see come out next? I don't know, man. Who knows what they're going to pick next? What, the last one was Squid Game? I'm not even sure that Squid Games one is out yet. Maybe it is. If it is, I haven't seen it. Are you going to miss the HOA lifestyle? Oh no. No more HOA. Ah. I am excited, though, because the new place we bought is a 5-minute walk here from the studio. So you'll be seeing more of me. Not really. You won't see more of me. But it means I get to work faster, or I can leave later from home. Something along those lines. Yeah, oh my word. Missing the HOA. When I was talking to the realtor looking for a place, I was like, no HOA. I was like, that's not a hard no. If you find a great place in an HOA, obviously we'll consider it. But location was my number one thing. I wanted some place that was somewhat close to work. Didn't imagine getting one this close. Size was my number 3. And we're going to a much smaller house, actually. But I'm going to be chucking a lot of things. Oh, I just answered Vanessa's next question here. What kind of shark media do you prefer when eating a cheesesteak? I don't know, shark hunters? Anyway. I saw the game Solomon Kane brought up in the last Smorgasbord. To my recollection, that's the first match of Solomon Kane on Dice Tower. Did you ever play the game? I did not. I did read the rules. I read the rules. There's a lot of rules in that game. I read through the whole thing. It sounded interesting, but we never got it as a review copy. I had a copy of the game that we had acquired through some other way, and I just never found the time to get to the table and wasn't that interested in it. Sounds unique, but I just wasn't that curious about it. What's my favorite Dexterity game? Have I done a top 10 on that? I should get around to doing it. What type of deck are you mainly currently playing in Marvel Snap? I just mentioned that. I have 2 main decks. I have like 13 decks, but my main deck is Thanos right now. But I also play a moving deck a lot where just a bunch of people move around. Do you stay in touch with Trey Parker? I want to be clear, we're not like super great friends, but I message him every once in a while. But that's about the extent of it. All right? There's nothing more than that. He's a very nice person. I was glad he came on the show last year. Do you have another live chat voting show coming down the pipeline? Thursday. Come on out. It's going to be the best game mechanism. What's your favorite game mechanism? Come and vote. And I got a new trick up my sleeve for this one. 5-minute walk to Suyu, you can go for lunch. I know. My wife was like, oh. How far are you from level 100 in Marvel Snap? I'll never get there. I'm not very good at the game comparatively. I don't play competitively. I try new decks and I try to accomplish my missions. I want to get more cards for Marvel Snap, so I'm going to finish every mission I can. I will finish a mission at the cost of winning the game. I don't care. I just have fun playing it. So I will never be that good at the game. You could easily beat me. I'm so terrible. Such a bad time to buy, says Chad. I know. You should always buy a house at Christmas time. But it was the perfect place in many ways, so there you go. Is there an upcoming review of Skyrim the Adventure game? Well, maybe. I have it, but I haven't even looked in the box yet. I like to play it. Pete says, I'm running a Patriot buff deck and a discard dino deck. Also love a destroy deck, but I'm missing a card to make it good. Right, and that's one of the problems that I still have with Marvel Snap is sometimes I'm like, wow, this card would be great for this deck. But there's really no way to get it. Yes, they added the new thing where it might show up and you can click it, and that is one of the ways I got a card I needed for my Thanos deck. I really needed the little flying ship, whatever it's called. That makes all cards that didn't start your deck cost one less, which makes all the Infinity Stones 0. It's great. And I got that one, randomly showed up on in the little store thing, but you can't just buy cards. So that's where, in Magic the Gathering, if you want a specific card for your deck, you can buy it, you know, and that's one of the problems with Marvel Snap. What do we have to do to get Joey to be a regular in the studio? You got to convince him to move down here to Homestead. He lives in Fort Worth, but not too far away. You'll see him more often than not. Roman says 205 watching, only 18 likes. Well, that's just the way likes work, I suppose. Most people just watch and they don't bother liking things in the background, which is okay. You know, that is what it is. But I will tell you, folks, I hate hearing the share, like, and subscribe. Meh. But it does help the channel some. Pete says my CL, my collection level is 2100. Well, he's higher than I am. My collection level is like 1650, something like that. But my 50, I think the highest I've ever got was 40. Didn't you object to referendums earlier, but then run right after that? Oh, I'll run referendums. I just think you shouldn't be bound by your referendums. For example, I'll be like, hey, we have a new show. Trying to think of a good name. What do y'all think? People vote. I'm like, well, whatever. Unless you're talking about the voting for the best mechanism of all time. We'll have that voting too. But if you notice, I picked the selections that are in there. So one of the mechanisms is not going to be punch your opponent in the face. I ask people for suggestions, and one person flip the table. Guess what? Not a game mechanism. That's not making it in the category. And yes, you can have people vote poorly. There used to be a website, I think, called Vote for the Worst for American Idol, where people encourage people to vote for the worst person and try to ruin stuff. But I'm not going to spend all this time trying to stop people from being idiots. I'll just stop what I can see in obvious stuff. What's a great gladiator-style game? I don't know that there's not a lot of great gladiator games in an arena. Are you a fan of Killmonger? I am. Quinjet, that's what I got. I really needed the Quinjet. I had to get it from the token shop, though. Do you have a Holy Grail game you wish you had in a gaming library? Of older games, nothing. There's that new Lands of Galzir game I need to get that Mike's been raving about. But other than that, no. Of the older games, I think I have what I've been wanting in a thing. Is there a holiday you always cook ham for? Yeah, Thanksgiving. I make turkeys, but I also have ham. I don't do a lot of other ham other than that. And any ham cooking tips, I don't know much. I always buy my hams pre-cooked and sliced, and then I just really, really baste them with maple syrup and sugar. And I put a root beer glaze on mine this year. So good. Are you guys going to do a best for 3 players list again? It's possible. I don't know that I have any top 10s planned too far in advance, but we'll get one. Any chance of a Cosmic Encounter live play this year? Maybe, but you know, one of the things that I pride myself here in the Dice Tower is we always try to play different games. Even when we go back and play older games, we've played a few games here multiple times, but my goal is to have a nice big library, even if we go back and play older games, which we do sometimes, to play games you haven't seen before. I know there's a stigma for pay to win. How does Marvel Snap make those cards available to buy without getting the moniker of a pay to win game? I don't care what they say. Marvel Snap is definitely pay to get more cards. You can upgrade cards every day if you have enough currency to do that, to upgrade cards. You can upgrade them 3 times a day. There's 3 different times you can upgrade them. You're going to run out of currency pretty quick, but you can buy more of that currency with real world money. There's a monthly thing you can buy that definitely gives you more missions, which gives you more of that currency to get more cards. So you can buy that. And now they're introducing things that cost gold that give you tons of this currency. And again, it's for real world cash. Yes, you could play for a really long time and not spend any money and get a lot of stuff. But definitely, if you pay, you'll get it faster, for sure. It's just not as blatant as other games, I suppose. I personally feel one of the reasons people don't like is because they watch on their phones. It's not easy intuitive to click like on your phone. Oh, okay. Do you collect Pokemon cards? I don't, sorry. I don't really have a favorite highest value card. So your veto power is why Meltscape didn't get into the best art competition. 100% yes. Did your hero quest ever arrive? Oh yeah, it did. It did. How do I get Thanos on my collection level 63? Well, he costs 9,000 of those credits, so you have to save up for a really long time to get. Oh no, 6,000 of those credits, but you have to save up for a really long time. So have fun with that one. It's not gonna be a long time. I got super lucky. He was there. I had the credits. I bought it instantly. Didn't even think twice. I apologize to people who don't like Marvel Snap. We talk about a lot about Marvel Snap, so I'm done with Marvel Snap questions at this moment, even though there's only 5 minutes left. What makes for a good live play game? Does Escape from Aliens in Outer Space meet those requirements? You often talk about no one else in Dice Tower played it. Possibly. The problem with Escape from that is you're going to see a lot of people just sitting around looking tense. You don't actually see what people are doing. You'll hear numbers, but you don't know. Everyone in the game's like, oh my, who moved to that spot? But you don't see that. It's hard to have a good live play of anything. Negotiation party games are the best, for sure. It's not even questioned. Those are the best. And yet you'll still see a lot of people watch a hot game, whether it's a dry Euro or not, because they're curious on how it plays, and they'll watch them of how it plays. But it's party games and negotiation games are the best. After that's exciting games like racing games, maybe some dice chucking on a combat game, anything. Then after that, Euro games, and we try to make them as entertaining and interesting as possible, but some games just don't translate as well to watching them play live. Have you heard of Zoo Vadis? Yeah, that's a reprint of Reiner Knizia's Quo Vadis. So I don't remember loving Quo Vadis, so I don't know what I'll think about Zoo Vadis. We'll have to wait and see. Also, I hate that name. It makes no sense at all. Oh, have I caught up on questions? No one asked. Once I said there was no more Marvel Snap, no one asked any more questions. So Vanessa says that she has played Zoo Vadis. All right. Prediction as to where board games are going. I could tell you 100% my board games are going to the cruise in a couple weeks. We're loading them all up and sending them to the cruise. The board games at my house are going to my new house. Except some of them. We're going to Goodwill. What 80s movie needs a remake? The Navigator. Although please don't mess it up. The Navigator. Or Daryl. D-A-R-Y-L-L. Judd says, thanks for another great year of the content. Dice Tower just continues to improve, and I'm very grateful for everything your team does. And I really appreciate that. I really appreciate the people. We are trying to improve, trying to make the show better all the time. So, you know, that's a big deal, and we're really thankful for folks who like what we've done. We know that things are always a little hairy, and some people don't like change and everything. But I will never sit on my laurels here at Dice Tower. I always am trying to change and make things. 2023 may be less change inspired than 2022. I shouldn't say should be. I don't have a lot of internal let's change everything, but I often make changes throughout the year. Like one of our biggest changes this year was making all the reviews multi-people involved in them. That was a big change. I think it was a good change. At least everyone who came up to me at PAX said they liked that change. So that's the sort of thing you'll see. I don't always have all my changes in my head, but I try to think of them and try to take the show in a direction that people are going to enjoy. Flight of the Navigator. Yes, not the Navigator. Sorry, Flight of the Navigator. Yes, that's a great movie, well, for kids. I watched with my kids recently, and so it was really fun. Looking forward to the cruise. Yes. You said you're going to play Jurassic Park Legacy despite the Foursquare review. I've been playing it with my kids. It's not going particularly well. Honestly, we're not loving it. There's so much rules for so little game. It's unbelievable how many rules per game amount there is. How many gaming tables are going behind the scenes at HQ? I don't. Like I said, we'll show you a run through of the office. So look forward to seeing that coming out soon. And that is. Oh, and thank you for doing children's reviews. My pleasure. I know that children's reviews is something that I'm a big fan of. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be able to do them because I'm running out of children. I mean, Chris and Wendy and Roy still have kids, but maybe I can either steal their kids or grandkids, but they're still quite young. Maybe in the neighborhood I'll be like, hey kids, want to come play some games? That might not go over very well. But anyhow, thank you everybody for watching. This is the last live thing for today. Tomorrow, I believe there's just one live thing, which is at the table with me and Eric and guest. So come back and join us at 3 p.m. tomorrow. Then on Wednesday, we have crowd surfing going live on Wednesday, and Thursday, Board Game Smorgasbord, and then the best game mechanism of all time. Lots of stuff coming your way. We have a lot to do between me moving, which would be busy in the least busy of times, plus we have a Kickstarter coming up, plus we have the Dice Tower Cruise, but we have content for you coming. Hey, some of our top 10 lists from the Winter Spectacular, some of the smaller ones, are going to be going up in an hour or so check them out. Until next time, though, I'm Tom Vasel, and you've been watching the Dice Tower Q&A.